This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
You found the frequency they warned you about. This ain't safe. And it ain't clean. Midnight truth on an open wire. Fuel for the mind, gasoline for the fire. Rules fall silent when the signal bleeds. With a voice that the system fears it needs. Rated R, no mercy, no disguise. We speak in thunder.
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. Truer words have never been said. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Friday, October the 31st of 2025, day 304th of the year, and only 61 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, that's how it goes. Some stuff coming up right away, as we are hanging with our people over there on the radio big side of the house. So how have you been? How's the last 24 hours or so been for you? Hopefully good and grand as everything does continue to go on. It's Halloween in case you were not aware.
Happy Halloween!
Hand over the candy, old dude.
You're not even wearing costume.
No costumes, no candy.
I got your candy right here.
Trick or treaters.
They go around asking for candy.
You believe I saw a ghost? I'm terrified of ghosts.
Happy Halloween!
Beat it, weirdos. I don't do Halloween.
Okay, I guess you're going to fall into one or the other camp today, that's for sure. Either you're going to be doing the stuff or you're not going to be doing anything. So it's kind of one of those things that we have going on, that is for sure, as we are going through the whole thing. Okay, so with that being said, if you're new here, let's talk about it. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of how we go about doing our thing, realistically how it goes. As we talk about safety, we talk about the news, we talk about everything that's going on, but it is Friday today, so it means that it's Freeform Friday, so I get to play catch-up for all the cluster of the other stuff that we normally get to do around here. But don't worry, we're going to make sure to take care of you, and we're going to take care of you lately. Okay, we're going to take care of you lately. So with that being said, keep that in mind as we are going down the multiverse of things. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. Go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging will be the options of the things that you'll get to do on that side of the planeta. So with that being said, keep that in mind as we are going through everything. Because listen, I'm going to tell you, we love the interaction. It does prop up on the screener. I've had people tell me that they get pissed off that they call in and I don't actually interact directly on them on the air, but it's okay. We're good. we're good. What we're trying to do is just to get some info to know exactly what needs to be done. So if you know it, now you know, or if you don't know it, now you know in regards on how we do it. And that's it. Outside of that, I have some friends from Feature Story News that show up, and they will start talking about the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's the easiest process on doing any of this stuff as we are going through it. So with that being said, if you're ready, I'm ready, and we can start going down the path real quick, and we'll bring in our friends from Feature Story News, and they'll get into all of the stuff that's going on. But before we do that, matter of fact, let's do that after we come back from the news. I'll talk about what we were going to do before we do that, because that will be important to cover some of that information. So with that being said, let's get into the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bunzen in Mumbai. The Trump administration says it will restrict the number of refugees it allows into the United States next year to just 7,500, and most of those admitted will be white South Africans, according to a notice published in the Federal Register. That's down from 125,000 people last year under the Biden administration. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
No reason was given for the dramatic drop in numbers after the US previously admitted hundreds of thousands of people fleeing war and persecution from around the world. Even during COVID-19 under the first Trump administration, the US accepted at least 11,000 refugees each year. The notice said only that admitting 7,500 refugees was, quote, justified by humanitarian concerns or is otherwise in the national interest. In February, the administration announced the program for Afrikaners, saying that white South African farmers face discrimination and violence at home, something the South African government strongly denies. Kate Fisher, Washington.
The UK's Prince Andrew, King Charles's brother, will be stripped of his royal titles and will have to move out of his royal mansion. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he will be known, has come under increasing scrutiny for his friendship with the late Jeffrey Epstein and has been forced to repeatedly deny claims of his involvement in an international sex trafficking ring. Ollie Barrett reports from London.
The royal family, I think, is worried about further allegations and revelations coming in the future as well. Part of it, I think, also relates to public opinion. Opinion polls here in the UK have shown repeatedly that there is very strong feeling about this issue here in Britain, with the vast majority of Britons wanting the royal family to go further than they already had done and wanting Andrew to move out of Royal Lodge, as you mentioned, a huge property on the Windsor estate close to Windsor Castle.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is meeting with the Prime Ministers of Canada and Japan for the first time on Friday, a day after agreeing to a trade truce with US President Donald Trump. Laura Westbrook reports from South Korea.
With US President Donald Trump back in the American capital, China's leader Xi Jinping will take center stage at an annual gathering of Asia-Pacific leaders in South Korea. After talks with his Chinese counterpart, where China agreed to postpone export controls on rare earths and the US cut tariffs on China as the both sides sealed a one-year trade truce, Trump left South Korea. Bolstering supply chains is a key focus of this year's APEC talks, as well as bilateral meetings, with President Xi meeting leaders from Japan and Canada. Japan's first woman Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi is seen as a China hawk, but since being elected, she has toned down her remarks.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the heist at the Louvre, the storied Paris museum that fell victim to an extraordinarily well-planned robbery earlier this month. French police have arrested several suspects in the burglary that closed the museum for days and caused tremendous shock throughout the art world. But what is the bigger picture when it relates to art theft globally? And what chance is there that any of the stolen treasures will be recovered? Julian Radcliffe is the founder and chairman of the Art Loss Register, an international database of stolen and looted arts and antiquities.
Well, I regret to say that it's a very large figure. The recovery rate is very low. Even for high-value pictures, we only get back about 20% of them after 50 years. Every year, I'm afraid, there is more stolen art out there in the community. But we do recover a significant number. we recover over 150 items a year, and we recover 4 or 5 stolen watches per day. So the operation of the database, which everybody checks before they buy or sell or insure, does make it very difficult for these items to be sold in the proper market.
It's estimated that the jewellery stolen from the Louvre is worth more than $100 million. Prosecutors say there is no evidence to suggest that the heist was an inside job. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. The Trump administration says it will restrict the number of refugees it allows into the United States next year to just 7,500. The UK's Prince Andrew, King Charles's brother, will be stripped of his royal titles and will have to move out of his royal mansion. Chinese President Xi Jinping is meeting with the Prime Ministers of Canada and Japan for the first time on Friday, a day after agreeing to a trade truce with US President Donald Trump. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bunden reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's rula.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's rula.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Radio Big.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. Safety in a way you've never heard of before a whole bunch of fucking imitators came out there and started doing stuff the same way. Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are hanging out and doing our thing. No doubt about that. So should we talk about some beauty tips? No, that's not what I told you I wanted to talk about. But what I do want to talk about is two things. Number one, let's start off with this, because in case you did not know, this Sunday, this Sunday at 2 a.m., the clock turns back an hour in most places here in the U.S. So take a listen.
We're all a little mad.
Oops. I don't think it wanted you to take a listen.
We're all a little mad about daylight savings.
I just can't find the time.
The clocks, they change when tonight?
But if the next president wants my vote, here's what they can do. Stop daylight saving time.
I just wanted to point out it's actually daylight saving time, not daylight savings time.
Daylight saving time. People still debate why we do it.
And as you struggle to remember how to change the clock on your microwave, you may have wondered, why is this happening?
Why is this happening? Because we just like to torture ourselves. That's what it sounds like. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on this weekend in case you were not aware. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are doing. So as we go into this show today, we like to talk about what the hell was going on all week, because this is what makes it Freeform Friday, to make sure that we play catch up for what the hell is going on. So if you're good, I'm good. Take a listen to this one. You're going to like it.
5 new arrests announced in the hunt for the Louvre museum thieves, as detectives appear to be edging closer to cracking the case that stunned the world. The suspects were arrested in raids around Paris overnight.
The new dictionary.com word of the year will probably sound familiar. It's the slang phrase 6'7". The site defines it as, well, actually, they don't seem to know what it means either, but it's gotten very popular with the youths and the teens.
And food stamp benefits could halt for millions of Americans this weekend due to the government shutdown. The Senate won't meet again until Monday, extending the shutdown until at least its 34th day.
Will Toronto, though, close it out on Friday? One win away from their first World Series title since 1993. Or will Yamamoto and the Dodgers force a Game 7?
To Jamaica now, where emergency crews are still trying to reach the hardest hit areas cut off by Hurricane Melissa.
Orders from the Pentagon for the National Guards in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. to form quick reaction forces. According to an internal memo obtained by CBS News, the goal is to ensure guards are readily prepared and trained in, quote, quelling civil disturbances.
Well, guys, President Trump surprised reporters today when he revealed that he underwent an MRI and took a cognitive test at his last physical, or as that's also known, not a physical.
We had an 18-inning World Series game last night. The Dodgers outlasted the Blue Jays. This game went on for 6 hours and 39 minutes. One of the best games I've ever seen. They used 19 pitchers. They were just about to run out of relief pitchers. It got to the point where I started warming up my arm in the living room. I was like...
So there you go. That's the week in review for this week. In case you were intrigued about what the hell was going on, there is no doubt about that. So with that being said, let's get into some news stuff just to make sure that, you know, we're all on the same feature stories. No doubt about that. So before we start getting into the world of the weird here, why don't we talk about some serious stuff? Take a listen to this. AOL just got scooped up again, but this time by Bending Spoons, a million-based tech company on an acquisition spree. The deal is reportedly worth about $1.5 billion, according to The Independent. Bending Spoon, best known for their apps like Remini, Evernote, Meetup, and WeTransfer, says that it plans to invest significantly in AOL, calling it the beloved business that stood the test of time. The company has a policy of never selling off what it buys, a rare thing for a tech company, as AOL might finally get a long-term home. In the 1990s, the internet giant isn't just a nostalgia piece either. AOL still rakes in over $500 million a year and remains on the top 10 global email providers with the 8 million daily and 30 million monthly users. CEO Luca Ferrari says that there's still an untapped potential in Fiercery. unloyal user base is basically there. AOL fans have never logged off. It has lasted with a twist in AOL's wild corporate journey after a $100 billion merger with Time Warner in 2001 and being passed between Verizon, Yahoo, and Apollo Global. The company says it's now joins Bending Spoon's tech empire, which, listen to this, also just made a $1.4 billion move on Vimeo. The deal is expected to close early next year. So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this one. The Commerce Department says it may soon drop a hammer on one of America's most popular router brands, TP-Link, over national security concerns tied to the company Chinese origins. According to the Washington Post, the federal heavyweights, including the Department of Homeland Security, Justice, and Defense, have reportedly backed the potential ban on TP-Link's router sales, citing fears of the company could be influenced by China. TP-Link Systems, headquartered in Irvine, California, is a spinoff of TP-Link Technologies based in China. The U.S. branch insists that it operates independently, saying that its American engineers alone the software for the U.S. devices. So there you go. A company spokesperson pushed back hard, arguing that the ban would hurt American company, not China, and claimed that they received no response after seeking government guidance despite political heat on what the things that are going on. So definitely some stuff to talk about as we are talking. Despite the political heat, no evidence has surfaced suggesting the TP-Link's devices are spying on users, and PC Magazine continues to recommend it. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. In some other news, real quick, Prince Andrew's royal privileges are officially getting off the boot. Buckingham Palace announced that the King Charles III is stripping Prince Andrew of his official title and honors, and the disgraced royal will also vacate his residence, following continued backlash over his ties to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew is the late Queen Elizabeth II's son and is accused of attending gatherings hosted by Epstein. Going forward, he'll no longer be styled as a Prince Andrew. Instead, Palace says that he'll be known simply as Andrew Windsor. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are going through. So with that being said, why don't we talk about this? Former teacher seeks $40 million, thought that she died when shot by a student. A former Virginia teacher, Abigail Sweener, gave an emotional testimony yesterday in her $40 million civil lawsuit against the Rich Neck Elementary School assistant principal, Ebony Parker, after she was shot by a 6-year-old student in January of 2023. Abigail told the jury that she genuinely believed that she was dying, recalling that I thought that either on the way to heaven or in heaven, but that it never got all black. Her lawsuit accuses Parker of ignoring multiple warnings that the first grader identified as JT had brought a gun to school. Reading the specialist Amy Kovac testified that earlier 2 students told about the weapon, and she texted Abigail after searching the boy's backpack and finding nothing. Despite repeated requests, Parker allegedly refused to allow a full search of the child. Later in that day, JT pulled the gun out of his pocket, shot Abigail in her classroom with the bullet passing through her hand and into her chest. Doctors decided not to remove it. Abigail's suit claims that Parker's reckless disregard and gross negligence directly led to the shooting. The child's mother later pled guilty and received 2-year prison sentence. Abigail says that she continues to live with the trauma and the lasting pain of a near-fatal incident. So there you go. It'll be interesting to see what exactly goes on inside of this one, because it becomes one of those multitude things on how exactly this will work out when it's all said and done. Think about it in that fashion, if you do not mind.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the U.S. national debt has hit a new high all-time, over $38 trillion as of October the 22nd, according to the Treasury Department. That's roughly $111,000 of debt for every person in the country, the Peter G. Peterson Foundation reports. The figure ballooned by $1 trillion in just 82 days jumping from previous record of 37 trillion in early August, and there's no signs of slowing down. The Congressional Budget Office warns the debt will continue to soar over the next 3 decades, driven by the ongoing federal deficit. So there you go. Some stuff to think about, no doubt about that. Anyways, take a listen to this one. NASA and Lockheed Martin successfully launched an experimental X-59 supersonic jet over the Southern California desert this week, marking a major step towards the return of high-speed commercial air travel. The sleek 100-foot aircraft designed to fly faster than sound without producing an explosive sonic boom that got earlier supersonic planes banned from flying over land. Instead, the engineering to make a soft thump. Tuesday, early test flight conducted from the Lockheed Skunk Works facility in Palmade to NASA's Armstrong Flight Research Center was slower than the speed of sound and focused on structural checks. Still, NASA called the breakthrough towards cutting cross-country flight times, potentially slicing the trip from New York to Los Angeles in half of its time. If successful, the X-59 could open the door to a new era of quiet, supersonic commercial aviation, something that would haven't been seen since the Concorde was retired back in 2003. And believe me, if you're not familiar with that one, that is one of those things that you probably should take a look at, because it's one of those things that it was definitely at its time pretty successful in regards to what it could do. So just keep that in mind as we are talking. Okay, let's get into some of my favorite stuff, some of the stuff that we would consider the weird. So let's do that. Experts are asking your let's see. Experts say that asking your partner, what can I do to make your day easier, is more romantic than any gift, emotional foreplay, or practically more powerful than anything else you can do. What do you think about that? Does that change everything for you? I'm just asking the question. What can I do to make your day easier? I'm going to tell you, if you're not used to using that question, it sounds like it should be something that you're doing. I'm just taking a wild guess here based on those sounds because that sounds like something that might make more sense to do. Okay, so let's take a look over at this one. LA tops Chicago's and Oregon's rattiest cities. Take a listen to this. Move over Chicago. Los Angeles has officially been crowned America's rattiest city, according to pest control giant Orkin. For the first time since the list began in 2015, Chicago lost its long-running title to LA thanks to the city warm weather, dense neighborhoods, and endless restaurant scenes, which Orkin says makes a perfect storm of rodent activity. Orkin ranks cities based on numbers of rodent exterminations, calls it, receives each year. Experts say that shifting weather patterns, urban infrastructure, and human habits all play a role in where rats thrive. Orkin's entomologist Ian Williams warned that rats are opportunists. If there's food, warmth, and opening, they'll find it. Once inside, they'll chew constantly and breed fast, turning small problems into big and expensive infestations. Rodents can also carry disease like salmonella, Thyssen plague, just to name a few, making the rattiest title more gross than glamorous. So here we go. 5-1 goes something like this. Hartford, Connecticut, which would definitely not be something that comes to mind when you think about that. Also San Francisco at number 4. Number 3 is New York. Number 2 is Chicago. And as we have already discussed, number 1 is Los Angeles. Take a listen to this, as we've already talked about daylight savings time, but let's do it again. And that's daylight saving time, just in case. Not savings, just in case. The time ends at 2 a.m. on Sunday when it says lose an hour in spring, heart attack spike, but when we gain an hour in fall, they drop. Apparently the extra hour of sleep really does save lives. I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Which ones do you like when it's all said and done? So let's talk about this. People actually get happier after time change, according to reports. Believe it or not, surveys show that many people feel relieved when daylight saving time ends. More morning light improves mood, productivity, and at least for early risers, night owls, however, remain personally victimized. So there you go. Daylight saving time is twice yearly reminded to tackle to-do list as we prepare for the clocks to fall back at 2 a.m. on Sunday. Here's 7 things that you should do around your house. Are you ready for this? Yeah, because now I'm going to give you some home ec stuff to think about. So here you go. It goes like this. Check your fire alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. Flip your mattress. You flip your mattress? I didn't know that. Clean your coffee machine. Clean your furnace filters, AC vents too. Clean out your dryer vent. I thought you did that ever so frequently. I'm so confused here. Get ready for cold and flu season and take a peek at the cold meds in your medicine cabinet and toss out safety, of course, any of the expired ones, and then stock up on the basics as well as tissues and vapor rub, and then clean the gutters. I guess that's kind of the things that people do around this time. So there you go. Let's talk about this one. Chocolate might be taking the back seat this Halloween, as just because it melts. According to new data from market researchers Circana, non-chocolate candies like gummies, freeze-dried treats, and fruity tweets are stealing... Did I say tweets? I meant treats. Are stealing the spotlight from traditional chocolate bars. Last year, chocolate made 52% of all Halloween candies sales in the U.S., but this season, the number dipped down to 44%. The shift of the party driven by younger consumers who gave fun colors, wild flavors, and chewy textures more chocolate classics. Price is also playing a big role. Chocolate candy now costs on average $8.02 a pound compared to $5.77 per pound non-chocolate treats, a major factor for shoppers filling the candy bowl, as you are handing them out. So there you go. So take a listen to this. Early jack-o'-lanterns weren't carved from turnips, were carved from turnips and potatoes in Ireland. Imagine trying to hollow out those without losing a finger or two. I mean, just keep that in mind. Some stuff to think about. So that is for sure. So let's go into this before I go into the next thing. In this little bit, so take a listen for this. Why do people get goosebumps on their faces? Why do dogs walk in circles before lying down? And here's today's impondable one. Why cats need their paws on you. It's not just for affection, it's instincts. Kittens tend to need, which go like this, their mother to get milk, and adult cats do it when they're comfortable. Basically, you remind them of mom. Congratulations. You're now the milk source. Something to think about. Anyways, it is that time that we would normally do our main story, but if you don't know, we do some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. The bodies of 2 more deceased hostages were returned to Israel on Thursday. It comes as Prime Minister Netanyahu threatened further Gaza strikes if Hamas does not honour its ceasefire commitments. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
Hamas returned the bodies of 2 more deceased hostages on Thursday in the first handover of new bodies in 9 days. 11 deceased hostages now remain in Gaza, and the Israeli government has accused Hamas of purposely delaying their return. Hamas says it will take time and heavy machinery to recover them. On Thursday, Prime Minister Netanyahu said that if Hamas violates the ceasefire, it will suffer powerful attacks like it did 2 days ago. Local health officials in Gaza say at least 104 people were killed in those airstrikes, including 46 children.
China's President Xi Jinping is set to meet Canadian and Japanese leaders for the first time on Friday, a day after agreeing a trade truce with US President Donald Trump. The US President skipping the APEC summit of Asia-Pacific economies, with the spotlight now turning to China's leader. Laura Westbrook has more from outside the summit in South Korea.
All eyes now turning to the leader of the world's second largest economy, China, and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, he has made a speech, his first since that meeting he held on Thursday with Donald Trump, and he said that he was very much calling for protection of the multilateral trading system. He said that the world is going through rapid changes with a complex and volatile international landscape, and so he said in the face of these turbulent times, the more that we must work together.
The UK government says it supports King Charles's position after he started the process of formally stripping his brother of his Prince and Duke of York titles. Andrew's always denied doing anything wrong, but fresh details about his friendship with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have been emerging in recent weeks. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he'll now be known, will also move out of the Royal Lodge property in Windsor. Royal reporter Jack Royston says further action had become inevitable.
It's almost unheard of in the monarchy. Obviously, royal family members are not staff members. They're not employed by the monarchy and therefore cannot, under normal circumstances, be fired. It had become completely untenable for the monarchy to keep acting as though royal family members should not be held accountable for their actions, because that is absolutely what the public expects.
And at least 19 people are believed to have died in Jamaica due to the impact of Hurricane Melissa. At least 30 are believed to have been killed in Haiti too, after one of the most powerful hurricanes hit the Caribbean. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the heist at the Louvre, the storied Paris museum that fell victim to an extraordinarily well-planned robbery earlier this month. French police have arrested several suspects in the burglary that closed the museum for days and caused tremendous shock throughout the art world. But what is the bigger picture when it relates to art theft globally? And what chance is there that any of the stolen treasures will be recovered? Julian Radcliffe is the founder and chairman of the Art Loss Register, an international database of stolen and looted arts and antiquities.
Well, I regret to say that it's a very large figure. The recovery rate is very low. Even for high-value pictures, we only get back about 20% of them after 50 years. Every year, I'm afraid, there is more stolen art out there in the community. But we do recover a significant number. We recover over 150 items a year, and we recover 4 or 5 stolen watches per day. So the operation of the database, which everybody checks before they buy or sell or insure, does make it very difficult for these items to be sold in the proper market.
It's estimated that the jewellery stolen from the Louvre is worth more than $100 million. Prosecutors say there is no evidence to suggest that the heist was an inside job. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that's the latest Feature Story News. William Denzelo reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
As a
your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
If you think local radio sucks, wait till you hear our free-form station, Radio Big.
You found the frequency they warned you about. This ain't safe. And it ain't clean. Midnight truth on an open wire. Fuel for the mind, gasoline for the fire. Rules fall silent when the signal bleeds. With a voice that the system fears it needs. Rated R, no mercy, no disguise. We speak in thunder, we cut through lies. The world may tremble, but we don't bow. It's chaos and clarity, right here, right now. From factory floors to neon skies, we see the danger behind their eyes. Break the script, rewrite the creed. Safety's a story, we make it bleed.
Okay, you are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, this is another one not downloadable. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
This is the Rated R Safety Show.
Yep, Rated R Safety Show.
The warning was your only chance.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, no doubt about that. 43 minutes past the top of the hour as we are going to get into everything going on. Thanks for the song there, no doubt about that. Always a good time when we get to hang out and take a listen to what the hell is going on. So let's start talking right away about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, you can go there. It can change everything for you. That's TWLOHA.com to write love on her arms. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about some other things going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And let's go ahead and talk about some movies that are coming out today, in case you wanted to know. But Gonia, starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Aidan Delbris. Let's see, the synopsis of the movie goes something like this. 2 conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap a high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she's an alien with intent of destroying the planet. Hits theaters today, rated R. Safe House, starring Brian Borello. 6 federal agents are hiding after LA terror attack, grow suspicious of each other, and realize the perpetrator could be among them. It hits theaters today. Also, Violent Ends, starring Billy Magnuson and Kate Burton. A Southern revenge thriller, a star-crossed lovers set against the backdrop of the Ozark Mountains. Violent Ends chronicles the life of Lucas Frost, an honest man brought up in the crime family whose once legacy is violence. It hits theaters today, rated R as well. I think we got a theme going on here, rated R, if you kind of get the drift as we are talking. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is kind of what we do around here. No doubt about that one. So let's talk about this. If you are a dude, let's talk about this for a moment. Guys own 12 towels, but only uses one. The stiff, faded, emotional, irreplaceable one. Nobody knows why. Not even them. Keep that in mind as we are talking. So there you go. You know, dudes do some weird stuff. So as we continue talking about Halloween today, let's talk about this. Candy corn wasn't always called candy corn. When candy corn was invented back in the 1880s, it was known as, are you ready for this? Chicken feed. Yeah, honestly, some people would argue it still tastes like it as well, but we'll leave that as another conversation. A new national survey found that 52% of people hate candy corn, and 36% love it, and 12% said only eat it if it's free. I mean, do you go out there and buy it? I mean, I didn't think that was really an option to do that. But the kicker is that people who love candy corn are twice as likely to start decorating on Halloween before the 1st of October. Sweet tooth or sweet trouble. I guess that's kind of one of the ways that you'll have to take a look at this thing. Also, in some other thing, people love being scared together. Yeah, take a listen to this. Some people in my group, psychologists, say that they fear builds a social bond. That's why haunted houses, horror movies, and ghost tours work so well. Misery loves company. Damn it. So is this the reason why I kept on getting asked so much to go to haunted houses with people, and I never understood why? Damn it, man. Damn it.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, we won't even talk about some of the Halloween stuff that happens at times. Okay, let's talk about some women stuff real quick. Women online are sharing their latest dating icks, if you might say that. Things that instantly kill attraction. Top ones. Men who clap when the plane lands and say, bro, too much. Text WYD with no plan. And dead romance walking. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. I don't know how you look at this. I mean, listen, I will put it to you this way. In looking at the dating game, that has just not been my thing for years. I'm happy where I'm at, so thanks for asking the question. Let's talk about some news of the weird for a moment, if I may do so, because, you know, that's just kind of what we do around here. Take a listen to this one. City bans black cats adoptions ahead of Halloween. In Spain, the city of Terrassa, the third largest Catalonia, put a stop to Halloween season superstitions by temporarily banning black cat adoptions. The city council says the move is to protect the animals from being used as Halloween props or worse, in rituals. Deputy Mayor Noel Duque explained that its officials received warnings about people wanting to adopt black cats for ritual purposes. So adoptions and fostering were suspended until the end of October. Anyone who is to adopt one afterwards will need to show proof that they actually care for it. Animal protection groups say that it happens every year. Black cats suddenly become trendy, spooky decorations and witchy accessories. In centuries-old superstitions dating back to the medieval Europe, when black cats were unfairly tied to witchcraft and bad luck. While black cats are still seen as omens of misfortune in parts of Europe, other places like Japan and UK consider them lucky. Even Belgium, which even tossed cats to Belfries in medieval times, now honor all cats in the annual Katoftos festival. So I guess that's one way to take a look at it as we are going. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay, what else do we want to do? Do we want to do anything else before this? Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Donnie. President John F. Kennedy said, "Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right. Not peace at the expense of freedom, but both peace and freedom here in this hemisphere, and we hope around the world." What a great thought. Peace around the world. It may seem like a long shot, but what if we all agreed that this would be good? What if we could get the world leaders to talk and communicate rather than fight and argue? What if we could find a way to see the best in others and find ways to bring people together rather than push people away from one another? It would be amazing. And I think it's possible too.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Peace talks in Pakistan between the government and key militant groups reached a breakthrough after weeks of tense negotiations.
Officials say agreements on a temporary ceasefire and humanitarian aid corridors mark significant progress for the region. Local communities are cautiously optimistic amid ongoing military operations in bordering areas. International observers remain hopeful that sustained dialogue will ease violence and bring a longer-term resolution to the conflict. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Sudan's already dire humanitarian situation has worsened as paramilitary rapid support forces seized control of the city of El Fasher in Darfur.
Reports indicate hundreds of civilians, including patients at a local hospital, were killed during and after the takeover. Aid organizations struggle to reach those fleeing the violence, with many missing and believed to be in hiding. Observers fear the escalation could further destabilize the region and create more refugees. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
A powerful hurricane named Melissa battered parts of the Caribbean, causing significant flooding and widespread blackouts throughout Jamaica and Puerto Rico.
Emergency workers are now rushing to support thousands of residents left without shelter or access to clean water. The storm has disrupted shipping routes and delayed flights across the Caribbean and southeastern United States. Meteorologists caution that extended storm surges could affect recovery efforts well into next week. Chris Anderson reporting.
President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping concluded trade talks in Washington, D.C., agreeing on a preliminary framework to reduce tariffs and ease restrictions on several key industries.
Both leaders stated that progress was made on nearly every issue discussed, offering hope for a pause in the ongoing trade dispute. However, specifics have been kept confidential while negotiators finalize terms. Economists await details to assess how the agreement might affect global markets moving forward. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A jury in Illinois found a sheriff's deputy guilty of second-degree murder in the 2024 shooting death of Sonia Massey, a black mother of two who had called 911 for help.
The verdict followed a closely watched trial, with the jury opting for a lesser charge rather than first-degree murder. The case drew significant national attention and renewed calls for police reform and new legislation. Massey's family and supporters expressed frustration over the outcome, demanding further justice measures. Kyle Norris reporting.
The Department of Justice indicted an Illinois congressional candidate on federal charges related to protests outside an immigration and customs enforcement facility.
Prosecutors allege the candidate interfered
interfered with officers during a demonstration, while supporters claim political retaliation. The indictments have sparked renewed debate over free speech rights and the federal response to protests. Activists staged additional demonstrations in response to the news, calling for transparency and due process. Lawrence Keller reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
It's the show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something along those lines, that is for sure. Okay, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1988, the first Monday night football game in Indianapolis, Colts beat the Denver Broncos 55-23. That happened back on this date, back in 1988. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about this one. Dan Rather turns 94. Ron Rifkin, 86. Jane Pauley, 75. Peter Jackson, 64. Larry Mullen, 64. Demarant Mulaney turned 62. Rob Schneider turned 61. And Rob Van Winkle, also known as Vanilla Ice, turns 58 today. If you need a random joke for today, well, I definitely sure as shit don't have one, so let's ask Aleska.
Why don't zombies eat kids dressed as ghosts? Because they taste like sheet.
Okay. So, Alexa, I can't even talk. Alexa giving you a definitely one for today if you're looking for one, because that's what we need. Some rando andos, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's think about this one. If you need, if you got to know, let's talk about this. According to a recent poll, the Washington Post, ABC News, IPIS, let's see, 56% of Americans oppose Donald Trump demolishing the east wing of the building. An experimental bill could slow your memory loss and brain shrinkage in some Alzheimer's patients. New research suggests the bill, called ALZ 801, was shown effective in people that have Alzheimer's disease and 2 copies of the APOE gene, which increases Alzheimer's risk by 10 times. Researchers at Alcaron in Massachusetts biotech company conducted the phase 3 trial. Includes 325 people with early Alzheimer's onset, either mild cognitive impact, MCI, or mild dementia, all whom carried the APOE4 gene. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $754 million jackpot. Tomorrow's Powerball will be for $400 million jackpot. And then what else do we got? Game 6 of the World Series is tonight at 8 p.m. on Fox if you're here in the U.S. Toronto leads the series 3-2. Also, daylight saving times ends Sunday at 2 a.m., so don't forget that. And when you go to bed on Saturday night, make sure to turn back the clocks an hour, because that's going to be importante. So there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively. If you decide to stay here, you can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a bit of advice today, use wax paper on faucets. Buff with wax paper after cleaning. It prevents water spots and fingerprints. I know, I'm trying to give you something good for today. No doubt about that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
low.